Okay, we are continuing over here in the Haggadah with the papers for the commentary of Rav Chaim Kanievsky, and we'll get into the main body of the Haggadah today. Everybody knows the very famous declaration that we make in the beginning, Halach ma'anya, we raise the bread, this is the bread of our affliction, the achola avasanu ba'ardim mitzrayim, that our forefathers ate in the land of Egypt. Kol dichvin yesi v'yechel, anyone that is hungry, let him come and eat. Kol ditzrich, anyone that needs to, yesi v'yivsach, let them come and have Pesach together with us. Hashata hacha, now we're here. L'shana haba ba'ardi Yisrael, next year, be'ez Hashem, still will be, could be this year as well, we'll be in Eretz Yisrael. Hashata avdei, where now we are slaves, l'shana haba v'neichayim, we should be free people. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky asked the following question. You start off by saying that this is the bread of our affliction, and then you start inviting people into the house. Come, if you're hungry, come and eat. You see, he asked, why is it that first we have to make this declaration that this is the bread of our affliction, and then you start inviting someone to the house? If you want to invite someone to your house, you tell them, by the way, we have delicious treats tonight. We've got steak on the barbecue. Come and join us. What kind of invitation is this? Halach ma'anya, this is the bread of our affliction. Secondly, how come the whole Haggadah is written in Lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew? Many of our tefillahs are written in Lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew. How come this first declaration that we have, the night of the Seder, is written in Aramaic? So he says the following idea. He says, first of all, halach ma'anya, the reason that we say this declaration here in the very beginning is because the taka are people that are poor, there are people that are needy, and there are people that need a place for the Seder. So we say like this is the bread of our affliction. Not that we're putting down, but we're saying we have matzah, and along with the matzah comes everything else, comes the wine, comes the maror, comes the food, comes everything that you could possibly need. So you should know that if you're in need of a Pesach Seder, and you need a place to come, this is your location, this is your address, come and join us. We have everything you could possibly need to fulfill the mitzvah of the Seder tonight. And it was written in Aramaic, he writes, because the time that the Haggadah was written, it was in Bavel, and the main language that was spoken in Bavel was Aramaic. So who were they talking to? They were talking to the Aramean, I guess the Bavloi, the Babylonians, the Jews that were there in Bavel. They wanted them to understand what was being said. When it comes to our tefillahs, when it comes to our prayers, so since that we're saying it b'lashon HaKodesh, so then it's appropriate that we say all of our tefillahs in Hebrew, and that's the difference that he wants to make over here. Now he asked another question. And this is a very good question. Everybody should think about this the night of the Seder. We have Shabbos, we have Yom Tiv, we have festivals, we have Simchas. We don't find by any other meal throughout the entire year that we start off the Seudah by standing there and making a declaration, anybody who wants, let him come and eat. We know we have Achnaz Orchim, you invite people for Shabbos to your home, Yom Tiv, you invite them to your home, but we don't make such an open public declaration that anybody that needs a meal Friday night should come to my house. You don't have a place for the first day of Sukkot? Come to my house. It's only by the Seder, only on Pesach, only at night, that we make this great declaration that we are inviting anybody who needs a place, let them come and join us and eat with us. So he says a simple, beautiful insight. And he says that on the night of the Seder, there's so many mitzvahs that a person has to perform. And a lot of those mitzvahs, they revolve around the food that we're going to eat. Matzah, I don't know if you checked the matzah prices this year. They're almost double what they were last year. The wine is going up, the maror goes up, there's the whole Suda, there's everything that's involved. There's a lot that a person has to fulfill on the night of the Seder. And there are people that can't afford that. So what are they going to do on the night of the Seder? So therefore he writes that since that we want to make sure that all the Yidden are taken care of on Pesach, and everybody has a place to go, so it's a well-known custom that every single balabas gets up on the night of the Seder, and he makes this declaration, anyone that needs a place, so that you can fulfill all the mitzvahs like we're going to fulfill the mitzvahs ourselves, come and join us. Not that Shabbos is any less of a mitzvah to invite guests, but the amount of mitzvahs that revolve around the Shabbos table pale in comparison to the amount of mitzvahs that revolve around the Seder table. And therefore we start off the Seder by making sure that everybody has a place to come for the Seder. He tells over a beautiful story from his father, the Stipler. It says that the Stipler told him that when he lived in the city of Vilna, so he came to the shul that was there, and he saw that there were tens and tens of people that were needy, that were aniyim, they were poor, and they were asking for tzedakah. He said, I didn't have much money myself, says the Stipler, so I didn't know what to do. I can't give every single person there. If I give everybody, it's going to be like 1 penny. What am I supposed to do? So the Stipler said he wasn't sure what to do. So should he give everybody just a little drop? Or should he just give one what should he do? How can he take care of all the aniyim, all the poor people that are there in Vilna? So he says that he went to Rav Chaim Kanievsky, who was the Gadol Ador at that time. So you understand, we're talking like the Stipler is the father of Rav Chaim Kanievsky, who will eventually become one of the Gedolei Ador in his generation, is going to be Gadol Ador of the time. So Rav Chaim always said to him the following. He says, I used to live in a little town called Ivya. And in Ivya, he said, it was a small town. There was a small Jewish population. And every day, he said, I used to go around and I would give a warm greeting to every single person that was in that town. He said, now I live in Vilna. There's thousands of people here. I simply cannot give a warm greeting to every single person in Vilna. So he said, I'll tell you what I do. Whoever I'm able to give a warm greeting to, whoever comes my way, whoever I come in contact with, that's who I greet with a smile and a warm smile on my face. So he said the same thing is tzedakah. You have a certain amount of tzedakah that you can't give to everybody. So he said, whoever you're able to give the tzedakah to, whoever comes your way, whichever ani will stick out their hand and ask, he says you should find the ability to be able to give to them. And then he says over here another very beautiful ma'aseh from Rav Arn Leib Steinman. Rav Arn Leib, when he was a young man, he was living in Lithuania, and they were very poor during those times. We can't even imagine what it was like. We go to the store, Pesach, there's more food in the stores to buy for Pesach than there is for the rest of the year. As if you couldn't live without your quinoa sushi for the 7 days, the 8-9 days of Pesach. But no, with the soy sauce that is also kidneys free, you have to have it all on Pesach. So in Lithuania, where Rav Arn Leib grew up, they were very poor people. And he said when it came to Pesach, they followed all the rulings of the Chaya Adam, one of the great halachic authorities of just the time before that. And in the Sefer Chaya Adam, there's one thing that they disagreed with. It says in the Chaya Adam, it says that the food, potatoes, are kidneys. They're in the legume family, and therefore an Ashkenazi Jew on Pesach would not be allowed to eat potatoes according to the Chaya Adam. So in that one particular halach, even though they followed the Chaya Adam for everything, they didn't follow the Chaya Adam, they ate potatoes on Pesach. And he said there was a well-known saying in town that said, the halacha follows the Chaya Adam in everything, except when his words contradict the Chaye Adam, which means that you can live a life, you can follow the Chaye Adam, but when it contradicts the life of man, because he said we were so poor that if we didn't eat potatoes on Pesach, literally, he said they would have starved and they wouldn't have been able to make it through the entire Yom Tov itself. So therefore, they ate potatoes, and that's how they were able to enjoy their Yom Tov. And now we see the minhag today is also the same, that we eat potatoes. We don't go like the Chaya Adam when it comes to kidneys and potatoes, and therefore most people, as far as I know, eat potatoes. Okay, and just the last thing, we'll end off with this, and that is that Rav Chaim Kanievsky says that the declaration is that anyone who needs, let them come and eat. What about a person that doesn't have that much himself? Doesn't have a big roast in the oven, doesn't have lots of boxes of matzah, doesn't have as many bottles of wine as you need for the Suda. What about that person? Should he invite anybody? And the answer is yes. Everybody has an obligation to invite guests on the night of the Seder to make this declaration. And we're telling everyone, no matter how poor you are, you have nothing to be embarrassed about. The door to my house is open. You can come and join us. If we need to eat less ourselves to accommodate the aniyim that need to come and join us, We'll be very happy to accommodate you. Each one of us will have a little bit less, to make sure that everybody has a place on the night when the doors are open for all. Okay, we'll continue Be'ez Hashem tomorrow.